of the Sunshine State, Valley Sports Sun and Valley Sports Florida. The heart of the fan.
It's the final Legacy Saturday of the regular season, and the ace is on the hill. Marlins baseball is brought to you by Leon. When it counts, count on Leon. Leon Medical Centers, medical excellence. Second of three, Marlins and Nationals. We got Fan Appreciation Weekend here at the ballpark, so a lot of the Marlins are out meeting and greeting the fans who have been supportive all season long and all summer long here at Lone Depot Park, so we always appreciate the support, and we welcome you inside the broadcast booth. Paul Severino and Tommy Hutton. So, T-Hut, if you had a message for the Marlins tonight, what would it be?
Well, the message is, first off, I get the feeling when I come to the ballpark and Sandy's pitching, it's very similar to years past when Luis Castillo had that 35-game hitting streak. You get excited. As a player, you got to calm down a little bit. You don't want to try to do too much to help him. You want to just play your game, score some runs, and let him pick up another win.
Absolutely, and maybe even another complete game, because that is one of the many categories that Sandy Alcantara leads in the National League, and that is why he is at the forefront for what could very well be the first Cy Young in franchise history.
Boy, you think of some of the other competitors, Max Free, Zach Gallen. Every one of the competitors, none has a complete game at all. And Sandy with his 5, going after maybe 6 tonight. You never know. The innings pitched. The ERA is coming down. This ball club he's pitched extremely well against. 3-0 this year against the Nationals with an 0.83 ERA. Look at the complete games, most in the major leagues. Framber Valdez is having a Cy Young type year. His competition's going to be Justin Verlander, though, his teammate, and Aaron Nola with just 2 complete games.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but in this day and age where Sandy is leaps and bounds in front of the competition when it comes to innings pitched, that's a big deal. Also a big deal is the defense that both Sandy and the Marlins on the whole have benefited from this season. Isn't it lovely what they did last night?
Well, it's always lovely when a ball's hit to Miguel Rojas at short. He has been spectacular, a .988 fielding percentage. He's made only 6 errors all year. He deserves a Gold Glove. How about the last out of the ball game? Did he catch it? Did he get there? How about some of the plays we've seen Brian Anderson make? Sliding catches, great throws. He can do it all in right field.
Marlins have had a really good year when it comes to the defense. Some of the fewest errors in all of Major League Baseball. They played great D all season long, and Sandy's been great all season long, especially against the Washington Nationals, a team that he will see in back-to-back outings, a team he dominated his last time out, and frankly, all season long. We'll check in with Jessica Blaylock on the other side of the break.
Park buzzing, and that is because their ace, Sandy Alcantara, is getting ready to take the mound. The Washington Nationals, however, probably not so excited about having to face Sandy again, especially considering that he just threw a complete game against them last week, the 5th one that he's had this season, and it was so impressive. Sandy was so efficient, averaging about 10 pitches per inning, and really it just continues a theme that we have seen all season long. Sandy's so dominant against these Washington Nationals, and Don Mattingly expects to see more of the same tonight.
You know, from pitch 1, it was almost like I'm throwing 9 today type thing. And when he's in the strike zone and pounding it like that, you've got to swing the bats. You can't just, you're not just going to keep taking pitches. So, you know, he's a tough matchup for everyone. He's a tough matchup for that club over there.
A .84 ERA against the Washington Nationals so far this season for Sandy Alcantara, a record of 3-0, looking to make it 4-0 tonight. When we return, it is first pitch from here at Lone Depot Park, getting ready for some Saturday night baseball. The boys in the booth will have the call for you when we return.
Staff, Sandy Alcantara set to toe the slab tonight and try to continue his quest scored the first Cy Young in Marlins franchise history. His numbers on the season, this is 31st start, a new career high when it comes to innings pitched, coming off his 5th complete game of the season. First guy since Corey Kluber and Irvin Santana in 2017 with 5 complete games in a season. First Marlin since Dontrell Willis in 2005 with 5 complete games in a season. And now he's on the doorstep with 188 strikeouts of becoming the first Marlin with 2 200 strikeout seasons. So he's got 12 Ks to go, something to track tonight.
Yeah, the numbers and the statistics just go on and on and on. 8 or more innings in 12 starts this year. That's double the amount of anybody else. So you just add the durability. And how many times, Paul, have we seen 7th, 8th, 9th inning come along and Sandy kicks it in another gear? I think just the way his mentality is, he's going to kick it into another gear because he knows he has one more start after tonight, maybe 2. And so he's going to do everything he can in this start and his next start and maybe the 3rd start to just solidify that Cy Young award.
Absolutely. This is a Nationals team that he saw in D.C. last weekend. We take a look at the Ocean Bank batting order. Lane Thomas will lead things off. Luis Garcia and Joey Meneses also due up here in the 1st inning. Luke Voigt's the DH. Alex Call, C.J. Abrams, Ildemaro Vargas over at 3rd base bats 7th, Victor Robles in center, and Riley Adams is behind the plate. The final legacy Saturday of the year. Marlins in their City Connect Sugar Kings jerseys today as we are ready for a Saturday night in the Magic City, a sandy Saturday night. First pitch in there for a strike, already revved up at 99 miles an hour.
You and I asked Don Mattingly, how soon can he tell when Sandy's got it going?
That one a chopper to 3rd, and John Birdie makes the play, 1 away.
And he said usually early. Nice play there by John Birdie, making his 34th start at 3rd base. There's Blate and De La Cruz and Brian Anderson in the outfield. Told you about John Birdie over at 3rd. Miggy and Charles LeBlanc up the middle. Lewin Diaz with the defense at 1st, and Jacob Stallings is Gold Glove behind the plate.
Sandy, a complete game on Sunday afternoon in D.C. And speaking of knowing early, he said after the game when asked, when did you know that you had some good stuff and could go the distance? He said, first pitch. 1-0 to Luis Garcia down in the dirt.
Well, we'll try to remember that because his first pitch tonight was 98 miles an hour.
Yeah. 9 innings, 7 hits, a run, a walk, 7 strikeouts. Another outing for Sandy, by the way, with 2 earned runs or less. So he trails only Julio Urias for the most starts with 2 earned runs or less since the beginning of last year. Backhanded by Lewin Diaz at first base. He makes the play. Sandy 44 such starts, 2 earned runs or less. Julio Urias 47. The pitch comparison, the speed, velocity comps here. StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud.
Yeah, and as we have talked about so many times, the whole key to the success of these pitches, when you look at the 4-seamer, the 2-seamer, the changeup 92 miles an hour, is that the arm slot is the same for each and every one of those pitches.
Going after the first pitch, Joey Meneses drives it out toward right field. Anderson runs out of room. That one clears the right field wall. An opposite field home run for Meneses and a 1-0 Nationals lead.
Joey Meneses trying to win a spot on this Nationals starting lineup for next year, and he has certainly displayed power. His 11th home run. Joey Meneses, Paul, has more extra base hits than Juan Soto and Josh Bell since they've been with the Padres.
I've heard of those guys.
Yeah.
That's saying something.
That shows the kind of power he has to take that pitch the other way. At first, I didn't think it was getting out, and it just kept carrying.
Lewin Diaz in the middle of nowhere, but Sandy there to cover, and he recovers after the solo home run. 1-0 Nats as the Marlins come to bat. you get a different kind of bank. By Leon, when it counts, count on Leon. Leon Medical Centers, medical excellence. And by the Florida Lottery. Since 1988, the Florida Lottery has contributed more than $42 billion to education. A 1-0 Nationals lead on a Joey Meneses home run. The first homer allowed by Sandy in 32 2/3 innings against the Washington Nationals. Eric Fetty gets the ball for the Nats, his 25th start of the season. Made a career-high 27 starts last year. The first time since 2018 that all of his outings have actually come as a starter. First pitch strike there to John Birdie. Last 8 for Fetty. He's 1-5 with a 7.60 ERA. As he deals to Birdie and grounded over to third base for Ildemaro Vargas. One away. So we've met John Birdie. Let's see who's behind him. The Ocean Bank batting order. Brian Anderson is in right with Garrett Cooper, the DH. Charles LeBlanc over at second. Bleday in left. De La Cruz in center. Stallings, of course, with Sandy on the hill, is behind the plate. Miguel Rojas at short. Lewin Diaz at first base. Donnie, that's one tandem that hasn't been broken up all season long. Stallings and Sandy. Sandy and Stallings. Every game, every inning, every pitch, those two have been together.
I tell you what, as fun as it's been for us to watch Sandy Alcantara, I'm sure Jacob Stallings could say the same. Handling him, calling his pitches.
Slowly rolled up the third baseline, but foul.
How about a scouting report on Eric Fetty, the 29-year-old right-hander? Brought to you by Auto Nation. He's got good vibes against Miami. 0-1 this year, but 4-1 with a .224 in his career. That's the most wins against any team. He spent a little time on the IL this year, and he went to the same high school as Bryce Harper in Las Vegas.
That's lined up the middle. A base hit for Brian Anderson. And he right up the gut for the Marlins' first hit.
Good to see Andy stay back this way. Take that pitch right back up the middle. You know, and okay, Sandy gave up that first inning home run. You go back in the dugout and you go, you know what? Needed to get one to win anyway.
Right.
So that's all you got to do.
And there have been a lot of times this year where Sandy will give up a run and be like, okay, well, but there's your run. That's about it. Here's Garrett Cooper, 2 for 3 last night, had a double and an RBI. A 6-game hit streak coming in for Coop. Takes a look at a pitch outside. In fact, last 13 games for Garrett Cooper average at .320, which is right about where it was at the beginning of July before that lengthy slump that he was on. So he's, you know, you can't eliminate a month and a half, but a .320 hitter for a good chunk of the year.
It would be interesting when it's all said and done. I don't really want to bother him with this question right now, but when the season's over, it'd be interesting to ask Garrett Cooper, what did you learn from that period of time where just nothing seemed to be happening?
One ball, one strike from Fetty. This is away with a cut fastball.
Yeah, Fetty, you're going to see fastballs and cutters, some sliders, occasionally a changeup. Not overpowering.
Marlins saw him on Saturday afternoon. 4 innings, 7 hits. This is low with the sinker. One of the pitches that he will feature this evening. StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud.
Yeah, there's a look at what he features. The sinker, 41%. Curveballs, cutters. Not too many changeups. If he throws a changeup, it'll probably be to a left-handed batter.
And if you're a hitter and you see the grouping of those pitches, and again, that's kind of the hot spot of where those pitch types end up more times than not as Cooper draws the walk. When you see 3 pitches all ending up in that one little area, is that something you're keying in on going into a matchup tonight?
Well, with a guy who does use the two-seamer, the sinker, you initially want him to bring the ball up anyway. So if you see anything that starts out at the knees, your initial thought is try to let that go by, because it's going to sink out of the zone.
Here is Charles LeBlanc, 2 on and 1 out. And he takes a strike. So the hits and the strikeouts this year for Eric Fedde. The red is the hits, the white the strikeouts. So he's been around the zone.
That's how he earns his living. He tries to keep the walks down, even though the walks are up a little bit for him this year.
That one trickles away from the backstop, Riley Adams.
Fedde's one of those guys. The Nationals actually took a gamble on him out of college because he had Tommy John surgery his last year in college, and they still drafted him in the first round.
18th overall out of UNLV in 2014. LeBlanc, multi-hit game last night.
He's had a few of those lately.
And it seems like anything he puts in play ends up being a base hit. In September, a .400 batting average on the balls that he puts in play. However, this one rolled to second base, and it'll be a productive out, moving the runners to second and third, but there are now 2 away.
Yeah, for a moment you thought maybe Charles LeBlanc found a hole over on the right side, but Luis Garcia got over there quickly. He was shading him up the middle a little bit in the double play depth and was able to get there to make the play.
J.J. Bleday swings at the first one, fouls it back now to play at the breaking ball, and it's 0-1. Bleday 0 for 2 last night. Had a sac fly in the 7th inning. 7th inning of a 5-2 Marlins win last night. And these are the spots where, specifically against the Nationals, over the course of the last week or so, the Marlins have really struggled. Last night they were 2 for 14 with runners in scoring position, and in the last 4 games against the Nats, so last night and in DC last weekend, 4 for 38 with 27 men left on base. So they've had opportunities, but in those 4 games they're 2-2.
Yeah, the good news, you get the traffic out there. The bad news, they haven't been able to send it home. And how great would this be right here for Donnie and also for Sandy Alcantara? For a base hit to bring in a couple of runs, and all of a sudden, just like that, erase the home run and put your ball club back on top.
See, I thought you were going to say, who wants to be stuck in a traffic jam? 2-1 pitch.
You and I have that happen often.
Win a game last night, nice crisp ball game, and then there's a soccer game up north.
Didn't realize that.
2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 in scoring position. Fedde delivers, and Bleday loops one right center, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. 1 run is home, and here comes the second. J.J. Bleday, a 2 RBI single.
Just like that. You don't have to hit a screaming line drive. Sometimes it can be a bloop, but if you make contact, you give yourself a chance. The out by LeBlanc put 2 runners in scoring position. The bloop by JJ brought them both in. So a good effort all around, and just like that, Sandy has a lead.
A welcome sight like the open road after a traffic jam. J.J. Bleday gives the Marlins a 2-1 lead. And for J.J. specifically, that's a hit that he needed. not just to give them the lead, but just to get some hits. Hitting just 121 in September, but a big 2-out, 2 RBI knock, and that brings up Brian De La Cruz. And now De La Cruz mashes this one out to center field over the head of Robles, and then a one-hop over the wall. But the Nationals catch a break because Bleday had to stop at third base, but another hard hit ball by Brian De La Cruz.
So I tell you what, Don Mattingly loves the way De La Cruz swinging the bat right now, staying in the middle of the diamond. That's exactly what he told us, and that's what De La Cruz has been able to do. And the tough part, the bad break that the Marlins get here is Bleday has a chance to score if this ball bounces off the wall and stays in the ballpark, but because it bounces over, he has to hold up and stay at third base.
Outside to Jacob Stallings. Now 3 hits and a walk in the inning for the Marlins. All of a sudden they're starting to score in the first inning. For a big chunk of the year they've been at the bottom of the league when it comes to first inning runs. But in September they've been a little bit better at, getting out of the gates early with some runs on the board, giving their starting pitcher a little run support, or here erasing a deficit.
What do they say? Getting off the schneid.
Yes.
It's one of those words you say but you've never written down. I guarantee it.
SCH. I don't know. 1 ball and 1 strike to Stallings, who did not play last night.
By the way, for De La Cruz, a 6-game hitting streak now. And also, you were talking about J.J. Bleday. He breaks an 0 for 15 with that base hit. A big base hit, too. That'll make you feel a little bit better.
One ball, 2 strikes. And Stallings lifts one right field. Playable for Lane Thomas in front of the track. Marlins answer back, give Sandy a 2-1 lead thanks to J.J. Bleday.
De los Marlins está disponible en español por León Medical Centers. Excelencia médica.
Welcome back. J.J. Bleday, a 2 RBI single. Similar situation as to last night. Nationals scored in the first inning. Lane Thomas home run. Cooper had the RBI double tonight. Meneses with the first inning home run. And then the Marlins, they bring a couple of runs home to give Sandy the 2-1 lead. Alex Call, C.J. Abrams, and Ildemaro Vargas to hit against Sandy.
Early on, we always like to keep track, and it just took 8 pitches for Sandy to get through that first inning.
Efficiency has been his calling card this year. It's a little over 14 pitches per inning, averaging 7+ per outing. And 73% of his starts have been quality starts, at least 6 innings, 3 earned runs or less. Florida Lottery in-game jackpot, far and away, really, when you think about it, when he is ahead of Mr. Quality Start there, Framber Valdez, and the rest of the pack. 12 starts of 8 innings or more for Sandy Alcantara. That one is up and in, a 4-pitch walk to lead off the inning.
All of a sudden, the arm slot wasn't where it should be. So now Sandy has to make the adjustment. Yeah, what did Framber Valdez have? 25 consecutive quality starts.
I believe he's on the doorstep of a record. He's looking for his 26th consecutive quality start. That would tie Bob Gibson and Jacob deGrom for the major league record. And he pitches tonight.
I would say the only difference in Gibson's case, probably 22 of them were complete games.
That's probably right. Valdez pitches for the Astros. That game starts in about a half an hour. There's been other action today, and certainly some history made last night with Albert Pujols. We'll get into that as the night unfolds. Abrams drops down the bunt. Stallings goes and gets it and will have no play. With the high bounce, they weren't going to get the speedy Abrams at first base, and that same high bounce couldn't get the runner at second.
Yeah, you see, Jacob Stallings does everything that he can. Thought about second base, but he didn't have a play there. And then C.J. Abrams can fly, and he got up the line in a hurry. So a bunt single for Abrams.
So after the first inning home run, a little trouble here in the second for Sandy with 2 on, nobody out, and Ildemaro Vargas at the plate. He tries to bunt, and that one fouled off.
I guess you can see the game plan that the Nationals have. I mean, you would think about it because lefties came into the game hitting 199 against Sandy.
The numbers on the season for Vargas, a season that began with the Chicago Cubs. Played 10 games with them, now 41 for the Nats. Takes the ball inside. And we keep talking about the innings for Sandy Alcantara, but it's way more than that. It's the quality of the innings. It's the double play balls that he's been able to roll. He's been one of the best in baseball the last few years, and he gets one right there. It goes 3-6-1.
Boy, helped himself that time too. First of all, a terrific pick over by Lewin, fires the strike, and then is able to stay on the bag when he gets the throw from Miguel Rojas. There's the stretch. All of a sudden, Sandy becomes a first baseman. Okay, got to get the bag, got to get the toe on the bag. Right there.
67 ground ball double plays since the start of 2019, the most in Major League Baseball. He is dominant in so many different ways, and needs to get Victor Robles with the tying run 90 feet away to get out of this inning. And he might do that on one pitch. Lewin camped underneath it. A big double play for Sandy Alcantara. Protects that lead as we head to the bottom of the second.
All 3 rounds of the World Baseball Classic, and earlier this evening the Marlins unveiled this awesome mural that really gives you a full look at the schedule. Now pay attention in particular to Pool D. It features Puerto Rico, Venezuela, the Dominican Republic, Israel, and a qualifier team. It's going to be played from March 11th through the 15th, and that matchup on March 11th in particular between the Dominican and Venezuela, that could easily be a matchup that features Sandy Alcantara versus Pablo Lopez. So be sure to buy your tickets now at marlins.com/WBC. Paul?
Wow, I tell you what, I like that and don't like it all in the same moment. That'd be awesome though. Pop up off the bat of Miguel Rojas. Luis Garcia puts that one away. Yeah, Miami, Phoenix, Taichung, Taiwan, and Tokyo, Japan. The sites for the first round, and then the action in Asia stays in Tokyo, stays in Miami for round 2 in the championship round here.
How about the first matchup with Venezuela against the Dominican?
Wow, that's
this place will be rocking.
That is a way to open up your tournament. Here is Lewin Diaz. 4 home runs, 10 RBIs for Lewin. Pop foul and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike. So we've got JP Arancibia.
Look at JP's involved. World Baseball Classic. There he is. He's got a jersey and everything.
Yeah, he's representing Team USA. Rene Rivera, Puerto Rico, and Nelson Cruz, the Dominican Republic.
You know, I understand, and I know how passionate Dominican fans are, and Venezuelan fans, Puerto Rico, for their country. You would love to see some of that passion. I don't expect all of it, but some of that passion from folks who live in Miami headed out towards this ball club.
Absolutely.
Your Miami Marlins.
Yes, and no shortage of Dominican players, Venezuelan players,
Absolutely.
Puerto Rican players, what have you. A strike to Lewin on that low and away corner. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Fetty deals a payoff pitch, and Lewin fouls it straight back. Lewin did not get any at bats last night. Three for 6 with a home run against Eric Fetty in his career, however. And another 3-2 is popped foul towards Sandy's Beach. Now a message from FPL.
Every storm is different, every story unique, but our commitment to you never changes. If it's your storm, it's our storm, and we'll face it together.
Three and 2. Tipped and held on to by Adams. First strikeout for Fetty.
Fetty tried to stay upstairs, looked like the cutter. Good job by Riley Adams to hang on to that foul tip. That's an area that we've seen pitchers go after Lewin upstairs. A lot of hard stuff.
Top of the order, here's John Birdie. Ground out to third his first time up. Takes a cutter up. Burt was 2 for 5 in the game last night, so his last 4 games 6 for 17, trying to break out of a little bit of a slump. First couple of weeks of September a little cool for Birdie, who is still got a chance with a little more than a week and change to go here to get to 40 stolen bases.
I know that's a number he'd like to get to. 37 right now.
And that leads Major League Baseball.
You know, it's pretty amazing, Paul, when we think about it, all from a guy who was an 18th round draft pick, a guy who spent 10 years in the minor leagues, over 3,400 minor league at bats.
Popped up behind home plate. Adams runs out of room.
Over 800 minor league games. And you love to see stories like that.
Yeah, and that's over the course of those 800 plus games. Probably a lot of guys that got called up around him and never really wavering from that. Staying positive, knowing that his day would hopefully one day come. And it did with the Blue Jays in 2018, and he's found a nice home here with the Marlins. Popped up shallow right center. Garcia puts it away, and it's a 1-2-3 second. 2-1. At Lone Depot Park. Join the Marlins every Tuesday home game for Taco Tuesday at Lone Depot Park. There's one left. Ticket package includes your game ticket.
One taco or one Tuesday?
Lots of tacos, one Tuesday.
Okay.
Yes. $25. You get a ticket, a couple of tacos. You can go to marlins.com/offers. There you go. The traditional Cuban breakfast, the mangú there. Maybe that. I don't know what his pregame routine is in terms of the meals, but whatever it is, it's working.
Not sure he eats chicken every day like Wade Boggs did.
Ground ball to third, foul. Your classic Dominican breakfast there, which I've never had before. Have you?
I have not.
No. Cuban for dinner tonight.
I'm up for it because I'll try anything.
Yeah. That I'm familiar with that. That's a guitar. There's a couple of them there actually. And that's to go along with the Rockstar shirt, part of the Sandy's Beach giveaway. The Cy Young Tour. And then what's cool is that on the back, there you go. That's right. And then on the back, you've got the tour dates And I noticed today that there's flames next to all the complete games. Very nice. Very nice touch. Riley Adams grounds out to Birdie, and there's one away in the third.
Tell you what, they've done a nice touch with the T-shirts and the fans that have been able to take advantage of Sandy's Beach have been the recipients of those. Those are great things to have.
It sounds like Jessica Blaylock is going to go over there and hang out a little bit later on.
Well, she wants a free T-shirt.
Of course she does. Knowing Jess, she probably already got it.
Yeah.
She's got all the ins in this ballpark. One ball and one strike to Lane Thomas. A ground ball to third in the first inning.
By the way, we've talked about the complete games for Sandy. 3 of the 5 complete games have been against top 4 teams: Atlanta, the Dodgers, and the Cardinals.
And that Dodgers complete game was in the second of back-to-back starts against the same opponent. And he went the distance and struck out 10. Back-to-back starts against the Nationals here tonight, and at 100 miles an hour he freezes Lane Thomas. First strikeout of the night for Sandy Alcantara. So let's take a little trip down memory lane and all of the complete games for Sandy back in May against the Braves. This was the one in St. Louis. We'll never forget. He begged Donnie to stay in that game, and he finished what he started. Then against the Reds, another complete game for Sandy. This was a great one against the Dodgers in LA. The previous outing, he had gotten knocked around a little bit, saw them again, and dominated a great Dodgers team. And then the 5th was the Nationals last week.
Just to show you that it's not all that easy to dominate all the time. The Mets ace, Jacob deGrom, in Oakland today. 4 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, walked 4. Didn't have his best stuff.
Well, Tapper foul. 5 runs today, most since allowing 7 runs against the Marlins on May 17th of 2019. He had allowed 3 earned runs or fewer in a major league record 40 straight starts.
Wow. So it looks like the Braves may pick up a game on the Mets.
Another strikeout for Sandy Alcantara. A couple in the inning. The Cy Young Tour rolls on. Out of the 3rd inning, Paul Severino, Tommy Hutton, Jessica Blaylock, and the rest of our Bally Sports crew. Eric Fetty goes back to work. Marlins got 2 runs on Fetty in the first. Brian Anderson scored one of those runs after a line drive base hit up the middle. He leads things off. Garrett Cooper and Charles LeBlanc due up after BA. Andy now 3 for 12 career against Eric Fetty. Two balls and 1 strike. Bally Sports Florida is your home for the Miami Marlins. Stream Miami Marlins baseball live on the Bally Sports app, presented by Miller Lite. Andy with another base hit. That one into left field. It'll roll to the wall, and Andy will roll into second base with a leadoff double.
All right, now it's time to make the most out of that leadoff double. Good stroke by Brian Anderson. Good start for his night, 2 for 2. The breaking ball, he stays on it. Hands stay back, doesn't open up too quickly. and shoots it sharply down that left field line into the corner.
Another opportunity for the Marlins with a runner in scoring position. And it's Garrett Cooper who walked and scored in the first. Takes one inside. Marlins already 4 hits against Eric Fetty in his 10 games and starts against the Marlins, coming in just a 195 batting average against. Coop got a piece of it, 1-1.
Yeah, it's really kind of interesting because he's 0-1 against the Marlins, ERA over 4 in his 3 starts this year. But prior to this year, he was 4-0 against Miami, most wins against any team.
Cooper went around, according to the first base umpire, and crew chief Bill Miller. While we're at it, Doug Eddings at second base, Nestor Ceja at third, and Roberto Ortiz behind the plate. Yeah, really saying something. Fetty, an ERA in his career of 5.26. 3 runs more than his career against the Marlins as he gets the strikeout of Garrett Cooper, his second K of the ball game, 1 away.
Well, he got the check swing strike. That set up this breaking ball just to go off the plate with the curveball. There's the spin. This pitch, he doesn't want to get any part of the plate. He wants to miss a little bit off, and he threw it in a perfect location.
Charles LeBlanc, a ground ball to second, his first time up. Tried to persuade Charles before the game. I said, with your coaching, I said, hey, 2 hits last night. When do you want to put the mic back on? He said, yeah.
I think he ran out of gas a little bit there.
He was working hard.
He was working hard, yeah.
He's taking ground balls. Hits behind the runner here. Abrams on the short hop makes the play over to first. Andy moves up to third, but now there are 2 away. But as always, we've done these Friday night mic, and we appreciated the time that Charles gave us yesterday.
C.J. Abrams, since coming over to the Nationals, has gotten a lot of defensive help from Gary DiSarcina, Tim Bogar, a couple of guys that worked with the youngster in his defensive abilities, which maybe weren't quite in line with what they thought when they got him. He's a terrific young player.
Yeah, these are my words, no one else's, but I'm just kind of piecing it together. Blank canvas at shortstop.
Yeah.
And maybe not practicing too many bad habits now with a couple of good defensive teachers.
Well, it's like you're a young shortstop at the time, and you're coming up in the Padre organization, and they have Fernando Tatis Jr. What are they going to do?
Right. 330 million resources are tied up in him. 0-2 to Bleday, who had the 2 RBI bloop single back in the first inning. Leadoff double by Brian Anderson in the inning. He stands at third. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs on Bleday. This will be the 55th pitch of the night for Eric Fetty. Taken high, 3-2. Found Waldo. Top part of your screen there. Lord of Lone Depot, Craig Minervino. Popped up foul territory near Sandy's Beach.
How does he get those seats?
He knows everybody, or pretends to know everybody, and then puts pressure on them to give him free stuff. See, now because he's camera savvy and a professional, and I'm using air quotes, he knows the camera's on him.
He knows where the red light is.
3-2 pitch off the end of the bat, foul.
JJ giving Fedde a pretty good battle here.
Lede to center. Robles started back, moves over, puts it away, makes the catch. Marlins can't do anything with the leadoff double. Oh man, it's Blaylock going nuts.
Sunny in Lone Depot Park when you're hanging out in Sandy's Beach. This has been an awesome spot to watch a Sandy Alcantara start, and apparently this may not be the last time that you get to hang out here.
I get it, but I think, the fact that Sandy is in the Cy Young and nobody said he's got it, it's not like those other guys throwing the ball well. I think you got to give Sandy every opportunity to let people know, just how good he is.
So if that ends up playing out the way that Don Mattingly said, Sandy will make a start next week against the Milwaukee Brewers, and then we could potentially see him make one more start at home against the Atlanta Braves to end the season. By the way, Paul and Tommy, I was listening about the t-shirt. Come on, you knew I was going to get this one, especially when it's so rock and roll.
Yeah, they let her loose.
That Blaylock, she is a rock star. She also marches to the beat of her own drum, but that is neither here nor there as Luke Voit takes strike one. Well, that's good news, because we weren't sure if it was going to be his last home start tonight or not, and obviously until he makes the start we won't be sure. But you look at the potential for what could be, and again, if the scores hold, the division's going to get a little bit tighter. There's that one more series with the Mets and the Braves. There's another strikeout for Sandy. It's his third, and there are two away in the fourth.
Paul, you remember in the second inning, he started the inning with a walk. He walked Alex Call, and I made the comment, looked like the release point was a little out of whack. Well, it didn't take Sandy long to put it back together, and there's a great changeup to strike out Luke Voit. And that's what the great ones do, adjust on the fly.
They are their own best pitching coaches. Here's Alex Call taking a ball down low. So to get back to that point about Sandy and potentially facing the Braves, that could be a huge game for Atlanta. And again, it could be a situation where, even though for the Marlins it's not a playoff game, it'll have a playoff feel, and that'll be great for Sandy. That'll be great for this Marlins club to do maybe one last gasp to try to upset the apple cart that is the playoff picture. Their remaining schedule: playing the Nats tonight, tomorrow, a day off, their last one of the regular season, 2 against the Mets, 4 with the Brewers, and they finish off at home against the Atlanta Braves. Those times on your screen, what time our pregame shows begin. So it'll be a 4:10 first pitch that last day of the regular season. That was a knee buckler.
He throws, and not too many pitchers can say this, knee buckling changeups.
2 balls and 2 strikes on Alex Call. Grounds it foul. Call a walk in the second inning. Nationals got their run, a Meneses solo homer in the first. A 2-2. That's down. Payoff pitch from Alcantara. Call fights it off into shallow right. A diving attempt by LeBlanc, couldn't get there. Base hit for Alex Call.
Well, a great pitch, not a good result. The ball just got in on Call. He jammed him and just bloops it out of the reach of Charles LeBlanc. No chance for Brian Anderson in right. So a bloop base hit.
Two-out base runner for the Nats is C.J. Abrams. At a bunt single, steps in. A check on Call over there.
We have seen teams run on Sandy, so you got to be careful. He wants to just show him a little bit of move over there.
This is up and away to Abrams. Started the year with the Padres and one of a host of key pieces that came back in the Juan Soto Josh Bell deal. Talent at multiple levels returning to the Nationals franchise in that trade at the deadline.
Would you say one of the key pieces?
Yeah.
Abrams?
Yeah. Because there's, there's Abrams, there's Mackenzie Gore, there's I don't have all the list in front of me. There's another kid, Susanna, who's at the lower levels of the minor leagues. So they kind of layered some talent in that return. First 46 major league games with the Padres before the trade. Abrams sends a fly ball out toward left field. Blade on the track makes the catch. Sandy works around the two-out single and holds a 2-1 lead. La Lechonera making meals a home run since 1970. By Baptist Health, live healthy. By Estrella Insurance. Want to lower your payments on car insurance? Call 1-800-CAR-INSURANCE today. And by Chevy. Find new roads at your South Florida Chevy dealer. Oh, you love to see it. At the beach playing volleyball? Fantastic.
Beach volleyball, all I want to be on the record as saying on my side,
yeah,
I want former Marlins catcher Matt Trainor's wife on my side.
Oh, that's
Misty
right.
May.
That is right.
Gold medalist.
A fly ball out to center field, and goodbye for Brian De La Cruz. Just over the wall in center field, a solo home run.
And a gold medal swing from Brian De La Cruz. Exactly what Mattingly told you and I. The reason he's been hitting the ball, and I like watching him hit now, he's been staying in the middle of the field. His double was straightaway center, and that home run straightaway center field.
Number 11 on the year for Brian De La Cruz. Both the double and the home run over 105 off the bat. He has been hitting rockets all over the place for the better part of 3 weeks now.
He gets the curveball from Fetty, stays back on it. That's supplying most of your power on a curveball like that. Wow.
That OPS creeping toward 1,000 since the recall from the minor leagues. And mentioned it last night. This is a guy who last year hit 296. He showed that he could hit at this level a little bit last year. Of course, you have your ups and downs. You're adjusting to the big league life for the first time and all that sort of stuff. But you know it's in there. Stallings with a base hit past the dive of Abrams. And Jacob is aboard.
Now, I think the other thing with De La Cruz, he's getting consistent playing time now, too. You know, he's not up and down. A start here once in a while. Is it in right field? Is it in center? He's getting consistent playing time. He knows he's going to be in the lineup every day.
A small sample size last year of just 58 games, but had a 783 OPS and an OPS plus. You remember, league average is 100 of 112. So he's 12% better than the average big leaguer last year in a pretty limited sample. With an average near 300, on base was 356. Miguel Rojas will pop up to second base his first time up. Making 4 doubles and a home run against Nationals pitching this year. He's been swinging the bat a lot better lately as well. Last 18 games coming in, just a hair below 300. This, though, a ground ball to third base. To second for 1, on to first. A stretch by Meneses to complete the 5-4-3 double play.
Yeah, I think Brian De La Cruz has proven to many he belongs in the major leagues and he can play here.
Lewin with a home run in a silo, as they say.
I haven't heard that one in a while. I like that one.
That was a home run in center off the bat of De La Cruz. A double and a homer, and some similarities between the two.
Now let's break it down. On the left, the double. Where does it go? Straight away center field. Staying in the middle of the diamond. And on the right, the home run, straight away center. I think next time up, Victor Robles is just going to plant himself against the center field wall.
So more runs for Sandy. He's got a 3-1 lead as we head to the top of the 5th inning. Ball upstairs to Ildemaro Vargas, grounded into a 3-6-1 double play in the second. Sandy gave up the home run in the first inning, was in a little bit of trouble in that second, a walk and a bunt single before getting Vargas to ground into the double play.
Yeah, and a nice double play it was, a 3-6-1. Sandy had to get over with a nice stretch to cover first base.
So 3 strikeouts for Alcantara, 191 on the year. Time for our youth player of the game, Ralphie. Infield, outfield, 13 years old, playing for the Blue Devils, and certain to be locked in tonight. His favorite Marlins, Sandy Alcantara, dealing against the Nationals. In the air, left field for Blade. A few feet from the line, makes the catch, 1 away.
Did you see who went over 200 strikeouts last night in his 5 innings of work? Shohei Ohtani. So not only does he have 34 home runs and 90 RBIs, he's 14-8 with a 2.47 ERA and 202 strikeouts.
Those are great numbers.
Oh, by the way, 11 stolen bases too.
Those are terrific numbers, but is it enough to overtake Aaron Judge?
No,
for the MVP?
I think you and I are in agreement that Judge is the MVP in the American League.
Change up and a swing and a miss there. So the MVP race, and really for both guys, this is just a snippet of what they have done. But Aaron Judge leads in 8 or 9 big time categories. I mean, we're not talking like down the rabbit hole, 2-1 sliders. He's got the high. No, we're talking like regular homers, RBIs, OPS, on base percent, just like everything that there is to lead in, he's doing it, including there's a strikeout, top of the zone. Froze him on a pitch that just clipped the top of the zone. Strikeout number 4 for Alcantara.
It did just clip the top of the zone, but a lot of umpires won't call that high strike. Robles doesn't believe it. Yeah, since the All-Star break, I was looking at some numbers for Aaron Judge. He's hit over 370 with 27 home runs and 58 RBIs since the All-Star break.
Piling up the strikeouts at Sandy's Beach. We've got 4 right now, so 192 on the year for Sandy.
And still gassing it up 100 miles an hour, that last pitch. Gas prices haven't affected Sandy.
0-2 pitch to Riley Adams. Grounds it foul. Again at 100. And one last quick note on Judge. I was going to say nearly leading in all 3 of the Triple Crown categories. Homers, of course, RBIs, of course, but now 1 point back of Bogarts in average. There is a changeup for Sandy. 2 strikeouts in the inning. The Cy Young front runner looking great tonight. Welcome back. Bottom of the 5th inning, a 3-1 Marlins lead here at Lone Depot Park. Marlins fans, go to @BallyMarlins on Twitter and retweet the Fan Fueled Bundle powered by the Florida Lottery and include the hashtag Fan Fueled Bundle for a chance to win 3 Florida 300 times the cash scratch-off games and 2 tickets to an upcoming Marlins game. Must be 18 or older to enter. Stay tuned to Bally Sports Florida all year long for more chances to win. John Birdie leads things off. The cut fastball for strike 1. Top of the order for the Marlins here in the 5th. 3rd time through the order for Eric Fetty. Birdie tonight 0 for 2. Followed by Brian Anderson and Garrett Cooper. Ground ball to Abrams at shortstop. Now a message from Estrella. Routine play there for Abrams, but he was up to the task as this Nationals defense has welcomed his defensive skills. It's improved across the board over the last couple of months, but -50 when it comes to defensive runs saved for this Nationals team this year. Line drive off the bat of Andy to right field. A hard hit ball, but right at Lane Thomas, and they're 2-way.
Yeah, he's had 3 hard hit balls tonight. A sharp single in the 1st inning. Line drive double down into the left field corner in the 3rd.
And isn't that all I mean, you want the hits, right? But over the course of the long haul, the hits will come with the more solid contact and the better swings that you put on it.
You would hope, unless things just aren't working for you one year.
Strike to Garrett Cooper.
But that's a good analytic component that makes sense. Barrels, because if you're barreling up balls, more than likely you're going to sooner or later start putting together some base hits.
Cooper walk and a run scored and a strikeout. Cooper chased the breaking ball. Marlins go in order. We head to the 6th, 3-1. Milwaukee, but we've got a chance to support the team on the road with a Marlins watch party at Bottled Blonde in Miami. And Wynwood join Billy the Marlin, the Marlins Mermaids, and in-game host Ashley to cheer on the Fish as they take on the Mets Saturday, September 27th, a 7:10 start. Learn more at marlins.com/watch parties. Excuse me, that is Tuesday. Game 1 of that 2-game series. Here's Lane Thomas and Luis Garcia and Joey Meneses. Pitch number 60 for Sandy. Was it 97-mile-an-hour sinker there at the top of the zone?
You know, we were talking earlier about some of the numbers Framber Valdez has put up with the Astros, who's having a Cy Young type year battling his teammate Justin Verlander. I saw a note. Valdez has had 10 games this year in which he has received 6 or more runs of support. Sandy's had just 5. Pretty good offense there with the Astros.
Yeah. And you can't necessarily put the numbers up against one another and say, okay, that's the be-all end-all. But what it does is when you talk about the innings, you start to paint a bigger picture of what kind of a season Sandy has had. So he brings home a 1-2 pitch and gets another strikeout. That's his 6th, the first out here in the 6th inning.
He's got that dive bombing changeup working tonight. I'll argue with somebody too when they'll say, well, the Marlins are out of it. They're 62-89. It's not like pitching in a pennant race. No, it's not. But there's a ton of pressure on that man right there. He knows it. Everybody else knows it around him when he takes the mound.
Ground ball. Miggy is there behind the second base bag. 2 away. And of the 215, 16, 17 innings, whatever it is at this point for Sandy this year, a lot of those innings have been with scores like this, within a run or two, where every pitch he throws, there's pressure behind it. Now, like you said, is it pressure to win the National League East? Maybe not, but it's pressure to win a game.
Different kind. He's not going out there relaxed with a 6-run lead all the time.
Not at all. And he gets through 6 at about 60 pitches, about 70 pitches. We're going to start thinking if he can go the distance again.
Oh, yeah.
.194 strikeouts for Alcantara on the year. 1-2 to Meneses. Swings right through a 100-mile-an-hour sinker. Meneses had the home run back in the first inning. Sandy's buckled down since then. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and he brings it home, and he blows it right by him. Sandy's slider, slick on a Saturday night.
2023 WBC. Team USA is stacked. Take a look at the outfielders alone. Guys like Mike Trout, Bryce Harper. You've also got Mookie Betts, multiple All-Stars in that lineup. Pete Alonso, he's won a couple of home run derbies. And then you factor in that Ken Griffey Jr. is the hitting coach. Andy Pettit is the pitching coach. Paul, I think those guys have a great shot at winning another championship.
Yeah, and JP probably wants to be on the club, but he's, just a representative today. But he's there.
He's representing well.
Absolutely.
Oh, he's having so much fun out there.
Always. Representing Team USA, Rene Rivera representing Team Puerto Rico, and Nelson Cruz, the Dominican Republic. Yeah, that's a really good ball club, and frankly, it's a team that's trying to defend. I mean, this is a team that won it in 2017.
Okay, look at all those names, and I heard an interview with Mark DeRosa, who's the manager of that team. He's got to make sure there are some guys who can be role players, because you got all these stars. You still need a couple of guys who can fill in once in a while, because they're not all going to be able to play. They're not all going to play 9 innings every time either.
2 balls, 2 strikes to LeBlanc.
You know D-Row a little bit.
Yes.
How do you think he'll do with that?
I think he'll fare pretty well, and I think more importantly, he'll have a lot of fun doing it. PitchCom system doesn't seem to be working here for Eric Fetty. But yeah, D-Ro's a guy who suited up for Team USA in prior World Baseball Classics. His name's been out there in a lot of managerial searches last few years, so a good opportunity for him. Again, regardless of the roster, but a good opportunity for Mark DeRosa, who was a key player on a lot of different ball clubs throughout his playing career. The second chapter of his baseball life has been in the media, and perhaps there's another chapter still to be written.
Yeah, I think he has.
Staff.
I think he has desires to manage a major league team.
3 balls and 2 strikes to LeBlanc. Rolled to Abrams at shortstop, gets rid of it, and a close play at first base, but the stretch by Meneses, and they get LeBlanc. Marlins, they want to take a peek at it. Bench coach James Rowson on the phone. At first glance, wow, that's close.
That's close, but is it enough?
This is the old when is a catch, but the Marlins will challenge.
They've kind of changed it over the years. I know when the replay first came out, it was the ball had to be in the back of the glove, but I don't think that's the case anymore.
Yeah, it's the interior of the glove, assuming they complete the catch. Now, the onus, of course, on the Marlins to get the evidence to overturn the call here.
I think here's the analogy. If he were called safe, there'd be no question he'd be safe. But I don't think it's enough to overturn it. Hope it is. Hope Charles gets the base hit.
Well, you've played first base. You've run on the first base line a little bit. There's a couple of things there that I noticed, and I trust your eyes better than mine, that could have made that play not nearly as close on either end. It looked like LeBlanc was maybe toward the top of the bag as opposed to the front, and Meneses was almost toward the right field side of it.
Yeah, you're always, if you can, you're always instructed now it'll be different next year. Bases a little larger. That'll make a difference. I think he's going to get the base hit.
I would like him to. I have a feeling it's going to be a stance, which is a call that Donnie does not like. Either overturn it.
After review, the call on the field stands. The runner is out. Miami will lose their challenge.
Yeah, Donnie doesn't like the stands.
Yeah, it's like a. Let's see, how can I put this and still have a job?
Showing affection to a sibling?
Yeah. You know, it's like it's not a call. It's one way or the other.
I appreciate your filter, though.
Well, I remembered that we had told Charles LeBlanc the other day that we don't have a 5-second delay. So
that's true.
That popped into my head, too.
Whoa, that's a high strike to JJ. Nationals shuffle the defense behind Fetty. That's why he stepped off to reset. 0-1 on Blade, who had a 2 RBI bloop single back in the first inning. Tries to bunt that one into the, well, it went into the Marlins dugout.
You know, good thought, bad technique, but a good thought with all that space up the third baseline.
Jordan Weems in the Nationals bullpen with Fetty in the 80s in terms of pitch count. Sandy right at 70 through 6 innings of work.
You know, I had a thought when at the beginning of the inning Fetty came in, his pitch comm wasn't working. I had a thought that he was just going to say, mine doesn't throw 100 miles an hour.
But it does throw 93-mile-an-hour sinkers, and a strikeout, his 4th, 2 away in the 6th inning.
There's that 2-seamer, sinker moving away, moving down, and in a good location. That's a good pitch. It's a pitch that you'd like to just foul off and stay alive.
Now Brian De La Cruz, a 2-for-2 night, double and a solo home run, both to center field. Takes a pitch outside.
See, when you're locked in and seeing the ball well, you take that pitch.
Fetty's been a little bit more efficient. The first 3 innings, he needed 58 pitches. The 4th and the 5th, he needed 17. This is 13th pitch of the 6th, and it is down and away 3-0. If he gets the green light on 3-0, but he did not like that sinker. This was one of the 2 hardest hit balls of the game. The double was number 1, and this was number 2, the home run.
Breaking ball came right back over the middle of the plate and just sent it directly to center field.
Kind of a jam shot, having to get rid of it at third, and that's going to be, I would think, an infield single for Brian De La Cruz on something that looked like a little more self-defense or check swing, but when you're hot, you're hot.
Yeah, and he gave Vargas trouble down there at third, who had to go back on the ball. We saw Groshans last night a couple of times going back on balls, and it's tougher that way. You got to throw from your heels, you got to get a little bit on it, but that should be a base hit all the way. So again, you're going good. A little check swing chopper, you get the base hit. 3-for-3 night for De La Cruz.
And it's the 6th, so he should get another at bat, a triple shy of the cycle. Single in the 4th inning for Jacob Stallings, 1 for 2 tonight. On base percentage in September for him in the 340s. So good to see for Jacob. Breaking ball for a strike.
Be interesting to see where a guy like Fetty goes or ends up. Could be still with the Nationals, just on a 1-year deal. Guy can give you a few innings, be a number 4 or 5 guy in a rotation.
Stallings pokes it to right. That'll drop in for a base hit. Throw goes to third. De La Cruz stays put at second base, and the Marlins, with back-to-back 2-out singles, have a pair aboard.
Good job by Jacob Stallings. That pitch was probably out of the strike zone. He goes down, stays with it. If that front side opens up on that pitch, you have no chance.
Now Miguel Rojas, 0 for 2 tonight, grounded into a double play in the 4th inning. Once again, Fetty fiddles with the pitch count. And now finagles with the back pocket. Line, fair ball down the line. That's going to score De La Cruz. Stallings on his way to third. He'll stop there on the RBI double for Miguel Rojas. 3 consecutive 2-out hits against Fetty.
Boy, you just love the 2-out rallies. You also just love the swing of Miggy Rojas when he sends that ball into right field. This one was hit sharply. Stays with the stroke all the way. There it is. As you're going up the line, he says, stay fair, stay fair. And it was. And that double is going to knock out Eric Fetty from this game, too.
A nice 2-out rally for the Marlins. A little more breathing room for their ace. The Florida Lottery call to the bullpen. 4-1 Marlins. A pitching change for the Nats. Florida 300 times the cash scratch off, featuring a top prize of $15 million and 28 prizes of $1 million or more. Get yours today. The Florida Lottery. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. Speaking of responsibility, Jordan Weems comes in. 2 runners on base still belong to Eric Fetty. This will be Weems' 27th game of the season. ERA of 5.81.
Yeah, I'm curious to watch his delivery because he was a guy who was actually drafted by the Red Sox as a catcher. Spent a couple of years in their organization, coming up in the minor leagues as a catcher, but made his debut with Oakland in 2020 as a pitcher.
We've got a little pitch-com issue here. Riley Adams seems to be. I thought I heard him say something like somebody's touching it. So you know, they might have a couple of those systems in the dugout. Something's going on. I don't know. Now we're good to go. Stallings at third, Miggy at second. And Lewin takes a first pitch fastball strike.
Yeah, got a little over the top delivery. You know, catcher always has to stay on top. A lot of times converted catchers will have that short arm dart throwing motion.
Yeah, they seem to be having some sort of issue with the pitch-com system here. What's the frequency, Kenneth?
How many bars do we have?
I don't know, but Weems in a hot spot right here. 2 on, 2 out, 4-1 ball game. 0-1 pitch to Lewin. Dials up 97.
So what do you think? Do you think PitchCom has sped things up, or is it? I don't think you can say one way or the other, to be honest, because I think we've seen a few little delays like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in the middle. You might be right. Called strike 3. And the inning is over. Sandy goes back to work with a 4-1 lead. A great season. And it's not the first great season that he's had, but he's a different kind of great this year. On the left, you got your pitch usage, and he was leading with the sinker. Slider was the secondary pitch. This year, leading with the changeup, and the four-seam fastball has been pitch number 2, but still unpredictable. All those pitches have been 20% or more, and tonight, the changeup strikeouts.
He's still an equal opportunist. He uses all of those pitches. And the amazing thing we've seen tonight, changeups at 92, 93. We saw a slider at 95.
Voit, Call, and Abrams. First pitch swinging is fouled straight back. Oh for 2 for Voit. DH for the Nats. Fouls another one back. 0-2.
This is a guy who had 3 hits against Sandy in D.C.
Voit, fly ball center. Can of corn for De La Cruz, 1 away. Our Toyota trend has been trending in the exact same direction all season long when it comes to the battery of Stallings and Alcantara. Stallings has caught 29 games for Pablo Lopez, Alejandro Kirk, and Manoah in Toronto. Travis d'Arnaud, Max Fried, Austin Nola, and Yu Darvish, 28 games. But leading the way, Sandy and Stallings.
Don't know if they'll go as long as Molina and Wainwright, but it's been extremely successful this year.
Only 300 or so away. Oh, and 2 to Alex Call, who has walked and singled in this one. And at 100 miles an hour, Call gets hit by the pitch, shaking out the right hand. Not sure exactly where it got him.
At 100, it doesn't really matter.
No. I think he's pointing to the forearm a little bit.
Davey Martinez, manager of that World Series Championship Nationals team. Oh, got that left forearm.
Got both.
Right above the wrist, yeah.
It got both forearms.
Yeah, got the left one, came back, got the right one.
Man.
He's mad at himself. Yeah, Davey Martinez in his 5th year managing the Nationals, World Series champs in 19. He had a nice career. Saw him play a lot. He was about a 280 lifetime hitter, left-handed hitter. Had some speed. Had over 1,500 hits.
And he and Mike Rizzo have been extended. The brain trust there for the Washington Nationals. Abrams chased a changeup. Abrams 1 for 2 tonight. And that bunt single back in the 2nd inning. Birdie playing in over at third base. A toe on the infield grass.
Yeah, Abrams with a bunt base hit back in the 2nd.
A little bit low. Stallings trying to pull that one back up. See, that's the thing. When he's got the changeup working and the sinker, the pitch shapes are similar. The velocities aren't.
Yeah, he struck out. I remember it back in the 5th inning. Riley Adams. 2 fastballs.
Called strike 3, number 8 for Sandy.
And then threw Adams a changeup in the same spot almost. So just a perfect pitch there. Changeup comes back, starts off the plate in, came right back. Look at this. Look at the movement. Right in that bottom quadrant, right there. You can't hit that. Ted Williams couldn't hit that pitch.
Man, he is on another planet. Not only that, I mean, they're 2 different hitters, but he doubles up in the exact same spot. Not only could Ted Williams not hit it, it wouldn't bother Sandy if Ted Williams was in the box. Bat goes flying into the netting. Thank goodness it's there, as it was to the roof of the Nationals dugout. Vargas will get a little bit more of that sticky spray or Moda stick. Look out now.
Guys in the dugout are all bailing. And you're right. Thank goodness for the netting.
Then we got that.
Was that
guy.
Slash?
It might be. Good opposite field hitter, that Slash.
Yeah, it's the kind of hitter he was.
I'd say we'd be here all night, but I'm fairly certain when this one goes final, they're going to kick us both out. Oh, 2 on Vargas. 196 strikeouts this year for Alcantara. Bouncer right back to him. No panic, as Sandy is through 7 again. And now the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Baptist Health. Escablela.
Hey, Paul, Joey Meneses has been a great story for the Washington Nationals, a guy that really put in the time and work to get to the big leagues. But John Birdie is a great example of perseverance as well. He spent almost 8 years in the minors with over 3,300 plate appearances and almost 3,000 at-bats before getting his chance in the show. And talking to him about that part of his career and what kept him going, he said, I just always had this belief that I could do it, that I could get to the big leagues. And one of the pieces of advice that he always thought about, you're close enough to keep going as long as you have a uniform. And he has been such a nice player for the Marlins.
He absolutely has. He's done a million different things, and I would imagine some of that perspective from wondering if the day would ever come that he got to the big leagues never leaves him. Hey, you want to play left? Got it. You want to play center? You bet. Second base? Sure. Third? Got it. Lead the majors in stolen bases? Boy, I'd love to.
Yeah, you made a point earlier about John Birdie. Along the line, I'm sure seeing teammates that he came up with in the Toronto organization going up to the big leagues. And I can certainly attest to that. My last five and a half years were in AAA. And the one thing you keep telling yourself, you have guys that you played with, and you see them go up to the big leagues, have a little success. And in my mind anyway, I said, I'm as good as that guy, maybe a different position, but I can play as well as that guy. You know, I can do what he's doing. So I'm sure John Birdie did that a whole lot.
Weems staying out there, brings home an 0-2 pitch. And now a message from Baptist Health.
Thankfully, Baptist Health is here for moments you don't see coming.
One ball and 2 strikes. Birdie pokes it out to center field. Pirouette for Robles out there in center, 1 away.
Kind of shows you the smoothness in which he plays center field. Just took a couple of steps, little turn, and where did he stop? Right where the ball came down. Watch him up at the top of your screen. A couple of steps, turn around. There it is.
Guy can cover some ground out there in center field. Couple of hits today for Brian Anderson. Single and a run scored in the first, doubled in the third. Both of those against Eric Fetty. Swung through 97 there from Weems. Fetty, 5 2/3, 9 hits, 4 earned runs. Weems struck out Lewin Diaz, the lone batter he faced in the 6th. Anderson, fly ball to right. Lane Thomas makes the catch. Marlins baseball is brought to you by Leon. When it counts, count on Leon. Leon Medical Center's medical excellence. A Sandy's Beach Saturday night. It's like intermission over there right now. Everybody's regrouping.
Yeah, they have to cool down every half inning.
Well, after the complete game against the Nationals last time out, we wondered what would Sandy have for an encore. He's given up 1 run through 7. Went around again. That's the second time tonight where he's tried to hold up but kind of taken a big check swing, and now maybe shaking out the back a little bit.
That's, pitches that just bore inside. You try, part of you starts to swing, then as you try to get out of the way, the swing continues.
Fouls that one away. Still 0-2.
Jordan Weems has a little Phil Bickford look. Of course, he was in the news last night. But,
yes.
But he's tall, lanky, blonde hair. And it was Bickford that gave up home run number 700. He'll forever be linked to Albert Pujols.
Pujols wasn't sitting on 699 for very long.
No, not at all.
Cooper, swing and a miss, and we will head to the 8th inning. Sandy and the Marlins up 4-1. Welcome back. 4-1 our score. Top of the 8th inning. Paul Severino, Tommy Hutton, Jessica Blaylock, the rest of our Valley Sports crew. Sandy still working on a Saturday night. Mr. Clean Magic Stats. Starters with the most pitches of 95 miles per hour or more thrown after the 7th inning. We talk about another gear. It's Carlos Rodon in second place, 98 shy of Sandy Alcantara.
That's unbelievable.
And if we're in, to steal a line from or a notion from Frank Sinatra, the autumn of the year here, the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings of his season, that would stand to reason that maybe there's a little extra in the tank for these last few starts.
I talked about that early on, how we've seen him do that in the back end of games, and I think the back end of these last few starts he's going to have. The other number I was looking at, some of the other guys that have been mentioned with Cy Young voting: Kyle Wright, Max Fried, Julio Urias, Burns, Zach Gallen. The other number that Sandy blows them all away in is batters faced. Now, coming into tonight, 829. Urias, 623.
It's not even the same stratosphere.
Yeah, Corbin Burns the most. He's 713.
Another strikeout for Sandy. Number 9.
It's almost like he wants to get that 200th out of the way.
He's setting himself up for it, that's for sure.
Dive bomb and changeup. Oh. The other thing, you know, we've given you so many different numbers and things that have told you why we think Sandy should win the Cy Young. I guarantee all you'd have to do, if you could, go around the league and ask hitters, who's the toughest guy you see this year? And I don't know, it might be 9 out of 10, but it should be 10 out of 10. They'll tell you Sandy Alcantara.
0-2 to Riley Adams. That's a 10 out of 10 for Sandy. Double-digit strikeouts for Alcantara and 198 on the year.
And he's gotten 8 of those 10 since the 4th inning. He picked up 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, 2 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th, and 2 here in the 8th.
And he gets ahead of Lane Thomas, 0-1. 198 strikeouts. No Marlin has ever had 2 200 strikeout seasons. Sandy's 2 away and 1 strike shy of 199.
He's feeling it.
0-2. Low and in to Thomas. Cy eyes from Sandy as that one is fouled off the end of the bat. Lane Thomas stays alive.
Just off the end of the bat. Took a chunk with it. I think Sammy Sosa did that one day at Wrigley Field and cork flew out of the bat.
If ever you wish to swing and miss. 1-2 up high. 101.
Wow.
And that registered as a sinker.
Yeah, 2-seamer, 101.
Here's a 2-2. It's grounded into the Marlins dugout.
Then buries the changeup in that spot that he's hit all night.
98 pitches and close to decision time. About a 9th inning or not. 2-2. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Sandy strikes out the side on the doorstep of Marlins history. 199 strikeouts. Miami Marlins baseball on Valley Sports is brought to you by Leon. When it counts, count on Leon. Leon Medical Centers, medical excellence. By Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. Toyota, let's go places. And by FPL, your storm is our storm, and we'll face it together. Learn more at FPL.com/storm. Well, it looks like the end of the road for Sandy Alcantara tonight. 99 pitches, 199 strikeouts this season for Sandy. So, looks like that's going to be it for Sandy tonight. and a chance against the Milwaukee Brewers in his next start to get to 200 strikeouts for the second consecutive year and become the first Marlin pitcher ever with 2 200 strikeout seasons.
Well, it's his 13th start this year of 8 innings or more. As they used to say, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
That sound you hear is the S being etched into the Cy Young Award, I believe.
Yeah, I think obviously we all wanted to see him with a complete game, but I think at this point another complete game wouldn't make a difference, especially with the outing that he's had tonight.
Steve Cishek on to pitch.
Because with 5 complete games, he's already so far and away from everybody.
And just got the list here of Marlins with 6 in a year as LeBlanc goes down swinging. But Sandy in the 8th at his best struck out the side.
Yep, he had the changeup just diving away, and he touched 100 more than once in that last inning.
The strikeouts by pitch type. The 1 run was in the first inning. If you don't get the good ones early, you often don't get them at all. Oh, 1 to Bleday.
So he'll be ready for the Brew Crew next week.
Only Kevin Brown in '97, Dontrell Willis in '05 with 7, Burnett with 7 in '02, and Livan Hernandez with 9 in '98. The only Marlins with 6 or more complete games in a season. I just hope, we've all said it in many different ways, I just hope that every Marlins fan out there understands the greatness that they have seen from this man this year as Bleday flies one out to right field for out number 2.
Oh, well said, because you know you mentioned some of those, and that was a little different era for those other pitchers that were throwing complete games. Livan Hernandez, he did it a lot. This is a different era. This is an era of, well, let's baby him through 5 and go to the bullpen. And Sandy Alcantara is not that kind of pitcher.
He's proven himself to be the elite of the elite in Major League Baseball. A 2-time All-Star who has made case after case after case for why he's should be, could be, hopefully will be the first Cy Young Award winner in Marlins franchise history. Ryan De La Cruz a triple shy of the cycle. Will hit one down in the corner. It's going to be another extra base hit. He's on his way to second. Thought about it, but will stop.
That may be as close as we've seen a Marlin hitter come to the cycle.
You might be right.
Oh, what a night for Brian De La Cruz. Yeah, keep smiling. Second double of the night. Balance is there, lower half. Yeah, the other thing, Paul, about the complete games, years ago, there'd be 30 or 40 pitchers in each league that would have 200 innings. This year, you're going to have a handful. You could probably count on one hand.
Sure.
The guys who throw 200 innings this year.
Marlins without a Cy Young or a cycle. As Stallings fouls that one back now to play. Floro was throwing alone, and now Tanner Scott is up and throwing as well. So by my count, by the way, De La Cruz, the 197th Marlin who's been a triple shy of the cycle. And of that group, the 37th who's had a 4-hit day. There have been 4 with a 5-hit game. Giancarlo Stanton had 2 singles, 2 doubles, and a homer. Hanley Ramirez, 3 singles, double, and a homer. Dan Uggla, 3 singles, double, homer. Gary Sheffield, 3 singles, double, homer. Stallings strikes out. And we head to the 9th inning with the Marlins in front 4-1. Cruz 4 for 4, a triple shy of the cycle, but 2 doubles tonight for Brian De La Cruz. First career 4-hit game, 4th career multi-extra base hit game. And he was this close to the first cycle in Marlins franchise history.
And I'm sure Al Pedrique over at third base, coaching at third, knows all that. He knows the situation of the game, though. So did everybody in the dugout. They knew what was going on.
And listen, it's a fun game to play and everything. If it's in the other corner, it's a triple.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But not to be tonight. Florida Lottery call to the bullpen. Dylan Floro is on to pitch. We'll try to finish another win for Sandy Alcantara. Numbers on the year for Floro, his 50th game. Sandy, 11 strikeouts, 1 run. That was the home run in the first inning. Another 8-inning outing for Sandy, and the ERA drops to 2.32. Still a little off the pace set by Julio Urias for the National League lead, but another great night for Sandy. Floro to face Luis Garcia, Joey Meneses, and Luke Voit in there for a strike. A lot to react to when this one goes final on the FPL Marlins Live post-game show. Craig Minervini, Gabby Sanchez will recap it for you. We'll hear from Sandy, hear from Donnie, and get you set for what could be a series sweep tomorrow afternoon. Edward Cabrera and Anibal Sanchez will go head-to-head.
The old and the new.
That's right. Marlins trying to improve to 15-3 this season against the Washington Nationals. Ball outside. Two-1. Ground ball to second base, and that's LeBlanc to make the play. 1 down.
You know, we mentioned earlier talking about the run of games that Sandy's had. We were talking in comparison with Framber Valdez with the Astros, who had 25 consecutive starts of 3 earned runs or less. Well, tonight, 3 2/3, 7 hits, 5 runs, but 2 earned runs. So he can still keep it alive if he lasts through 6 innings for a quality start. Be that as it may.
Strike 2, Meneses, who has the only RBI tonight. That was a home run against Sandy back in the first inning. So if Floro can finish it off, Marlins, as I mentioned, would pick up their 15th win against the Nationals this season. Just the second time in franchise history they've won 15 games against a single opponent in a single year. 15-4 against the Mets in 2004. One-two pitch. Little off the plate with the slider. Floro ready with a 2-2 pitch. Meneses bounces it to first base, and a great backhand play by Lewin Diaz for out number 2. It's not as easy as he makes it look.
A thing of beauty. Soft hands, played the in-between hop, had to backhand it, and just came up with it nicely. He's got as nice a hands as I've seen as a first baseman in a long time. And that's why you want to see him improve with his hitting.
For the best coverage in the game, the T-Mobile coverage cam. Great play by Lewin Diaz, and the Marlins on the doorstep of a win here against the Nationals. Floro facing Luke Voit. 3 Marlins on the left side of the infield. And a strike on the edge. Now a message from FPL.
Every storm is different. Every story unique. But our commitment to you never changes. If it's your storm, it's our storm. And we'll face it together.
Rolled foul, 0-2 on Voit. Marlins trailed after the top of the first inning, scored 2, and added single runs in the 4th and 6th. Lead at 4-1 in the 9th. Floro's 0-2 pitch is down and away.
Well, I love the way the Marlins played this game tonight too, and you and I talked about it at the very beginning. Number one, they came out, they gave Sandy an early lead. They played some solid defense behind him. Added a few more runs, gave him a little cushion, and all in all, a well-played game.
Floro, 1-2. On the edge for a called strike 3. It's a Marlins win. Another W for the ace. And another step toward the first Cy Young in Marlins franchise history. Sandy Alcantara with 11 strikeouts. He's got 199 on the season. The offensive star, Brian De La Cruz, a triple shy of the cycle. In fact, 90 feet shy of a cycle, as he had 2 doubles tonight. Also added a home run. Great night for the Marlins. They'll go for the sweep tomorrow after their 15th win of the year against the Nationals. Craig Minervini, what do you have?
All right, great call, Sevy and T-Hot. Yes, exciting night at the beach. The waves were pouring in on the Nats as Sandy Alcantara dazzles to his 14th victory. We'll get reaction from Sandy and Don Mattingly. Gabby Sanchez joins us. Jessica Blaylock will have the clubhouse covered as well on the postgame, brought to you by FPL next.